I gotta be honest, I think I'm losing my mind. Alright, what's good? So in today's video, I got something pretty special I tease for you guys. I've remade my Ferryman macro for all of you guys to use. This macro has helped me get a near infinite amount of needles, gilded needles, smith alloys, and a decent amount of items as too. Not to mention, I've gotten a ton of notes and knowledge from this macro, as well as a bunch of other items like Ferryman code clots. So with that all being said, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use my Ferryman macro, what I did to set it up, and a little bit of history on the macro as well, because this isn't actually the first time I've made a Ferryman macro. So to give a bit of backstory, I actually made a Ferryman macro last August, and funny enough, it worked pretty damn well, I have to be honest. A lot of other people use it too. Only issue is, it used a bug to kill Ferryman. And because it used the bug, I decided to never release it to the public because I knew it would get patched the second it would come out. But the thing is, with this macro doesn't use a bug, and it actually uses a build that can be changed up a decent bit. So, if this macro does get patched when it comes out, it can hopefully be fixed and changed to make it even better. The original reason I remade this macro was mainly just to see if it was possible, but now a lot of people actually have interest in using it, so I'm going to release it to the public so all of you guys will be able to use it. But with that, there is a lot of things that goes into making this macro work, so I'm going to explain how to use it all, and I'm going to show it off. The only note I do have about using this macro is you do have a slightly high chance of getting ganked while using it, but luckily you can't drop any of the items you get from Ferryman, and all you'd have to worry about is getting out of the depths. So it's not really that big of an issue. But without further ado, let's get on to the build and how to use the macro. Now before I do say anything, everything being listed in this video will be in the file read before use in the macro. So if you guys miss anything, be sure to read the file. But with that, the build's going to be in my Discord, and the specifications will also be on screen as well. So we're going to go over that real quick. So onto the build. The build is actually pretty simple. We do have to grab a couple things pre-shrine, but besides that, it's really not all that complicated. We go 40 Flame Charm to make sure we can get Flame Wisp pre-shrine. It's pretty useful. We also get Flame Within as well, as that's going to be needed. We go 50 Frost Straw pre-shrine as well, because originally this macro used Ice Cubes, but it was inoptimal, so I ended up getting rid of it. Doesn't really matter if you use the same build, it'll still work all the same. And 20 Thundercall pre-shrine, as well as 30 Charisma pre-shrine just for snake oil, so we can sell stuff. Now besides that, once you get all those, we will shrine with 1.2 intelligence, 1 point to willpower, and a point in iron sing. Once we shrine, after that we're going to put 5 points into strength for carnivore, then we're going to put 100 points in intelligence, 40 willpower, 100 iron sing, and then the rest 20, 25. It's pretty simple. All we're really doing with this build is we're making sure we grab all the major Iron Sing talents, being Scrap Singer and such. I'll show all the talents on screen in a second. But what we're mainly going for is these monsters in my hotbar. We're going to make sure we need Lightning Clones, Flame Wisp, Sightless Beam, Word and Blades, Metal Rain, Metal Turret, and Flame Sentinel. It's on screen real quick just so you guys can know. Lightning Clones is level 2 with a blue gem, 2 Eternal, 2 Aeon. Flame Wisp just has a blue gem. Sightless Beam just has a blue gem. Word and Blades has 1 Stratus. This is important. It does have 1 Stratus on it and a blue gem. Metal Rain just has a blue gem. Metal Turrets has a multiplying spark, 4 Aeon Lock Stones, and 4 Eternal Lock Stones, so it'll last a while. And Flame Sentinel just has a blue gem. It's all pretty simple, shouldn't be too complex. Here are all the talents real quick if you guys would like to see. It's nothing too overly complex. And that's all of the talents. One thing I will say, you will want to make sure that you do not get the talent Lightweight, as with Lightweight, if you have less armor, you will move faster, and that will mess up the macro. One last note I will say, grab the Impaler Path for Iron Sing, but besides that, that should realistically be everything important. Now with that, I'll show off the gear that you're going to need. You are going to run Prophet's Cloak for this, and you are also going to run a Parasol Planter. We're going to get an Ishin's Ring, an Akira Ring, a Ring of Casters, and a Rosen's Ring. Along with that, we're also going to get a Vampirism Quick Fang. You can just spawn in with one of these and enchant it with Vampirism. It's pretty simple. And with that, we're also going to get Corrupt Smite with Blood downside as our bell. Besides that, that's pretty much everything you will need for the build, and the rest is the macro. So with that, let's get on to the actual macro. Now that we're onto the macro, once you have downloaded and extracted the file, this is what you're going to see. You're going to get 5 files in here. First one's going to be the starting screen reference. This just shows you what your starting screen should look like when you start the macro. Here's the read before use file, as I mentioned. Everything is listed in here that you need. All the settings. We're going to go over settings in a second. But pretty much, read all of this. You will be good. But besides that, I'm going to show you guys a couple things I want you to do in the macro just to make sure everything works so we can take care of that. First things first, when you open up the macro, you're going to see Discord ID. This is for the webhook. What you're going to do is you're going to put your Discord ID number in here. This will basically mean that the macro will be able to ping you if you do make a webhook for it. So it's pretty useful. The next section we have is the settings. These are settings for if you want to loot certain things or if you want the macro to do certain things. 1 is on or true, 0 is off or false. So if you want it on, you'll set it to 1. If you want it off, you'll set it to 0. So we have loot relics, loot weapons, and loot unique items. Unique items are things like Ferryman cloak claws and his outfit, but that's pretty much it. You can also craft needles with this if you actually turn it on, but you will need to get gold. The last thing I will say you guys need to do is if you come all the way down to the bottom of the macro for the webhook, you can see right here, use the Discord webhook URL right here. You'll paste it right in here, your webhook. It'll look like a little browser link. You'll end up putting the first one right in these two little brackets. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scroll down and put the second one in these two brackets right here. If you're having trouble finding this, you can do Control F, type in use the, and it will literally show up instantly. Use the Discord webhook. It's pretty simple to find. Just make sure you paste it in there. But besides that, that's pretty much it. But besides that, let's get on to actual settings and what you need to do to make sure the macro works. Now what we're going to do is come back into Roblox and go over our Roblox settings. So for all these settings, I'm actually going to go through them pretty quick. Camera sensitivity, 0.36, 60 FPS, max quality. That's pretty much it. Also make sure you're full screen. Now for Deepwoken settings, it is pretty simple. Make sure 3D icon behavior is off. Make sure leave game prompt is off. Come over to combat. Make sure hold to attack is on. Preload animations is on. Input buffering is on. And last but not least, in graphics, low graphics mode is off. Field of view is set to 80. That should realistically be it. You don't have to worry about anything else with that. Now for your PC settings, there's only one thing you're going to need to do. Make sure your display resolution is 1920 by 1080 and the scale is 100%. That's it. If you guys have issues with that, ping me in my Discord. I do have a fix for that, but just make sure it's 1920 by 1080. And besides that, as long as you have the build and everything else, the macro should work perfectly. So I'm going to show you guys how to set that up real quick. Now, once you've done all of that, we can set up the actual macro. So what you're going to want to do is make sure when you come into your inventory, close the equipment tab, close the weapons tab. All you want to be able to see, your materials tab and your tools tab. That's all you're really going to want to see. Before I like to start my Ferryman macros, I always like to come to Void Heart and stock up on wood. If need be, you can sell the pluripotent alloys. They don't really have much use. Come over here, buy wood, and you're perfect. You have a lot of wood, a lot of campfires, you're good to go. So here's what we're going to do. Once we have that all set up, we're going to go head over to Ferryman. I like Voidwalker as with Void Eye, what you could do is you could go to Ferryman and set your marker right there. Once we're at Ferryman, what we're going to do is we're going to come to the middle of this platform and leave the game. Then once we leave the game, we want to make sure Deepwoken is on our main screen. I always like to click on this image as if you click on this, it just cycles through the images and you don't have to worry about leaving. Your screen is going to want to look just like this. With the play button in the top left, all of this, it should be good. As long as it sees the play button, you will be good to start the macro. Once we're on this screen, we're good to go. We can then go back to our file and open a macro. We can see we have these keybinds. If you guys want to change these, I'll show you how to do that in a second. But what you want to do is press back bracket and it'll load up on the screen. Once we do this, there's one last thing we'll need to do. You guys will need to open TinyTask. Now, TinyTask will be in my Discord server to download, but what we need to do is we need to open a specific file. So what we're going to do is we're going to click open, and you see we have Ferryman restart right here in the file. We're going to click that, and boom, Ferryman restart is right there. There's also some settings we're going to want to do. Make sure always on top is on. Make sure play speed is 1. That's pretty much it. Just make sure always on top is on, and you will be good. And with that, you're actually good to start the macro. But some of you other guys still might have some issues, so I'm going to show you how to fix those real quick. This macro uses screen recognition. So what it does is it looks on your screen to find certain things. Sometimes, some people have different colors on their screen, as not all PCs are the exact same. So here's what you're going to do. Anytime you see one of these lines that says image search, what you'll do is you'll see this number right here with the star asterisk next to it. This is the tolerance for scanning. If for some reason at part of the macro it doesn't see something, what you can do is you can make this number bigger. By making it bigger, you are increasing the tolerance and making it easier for the PC to see that number. So if for some reason something isn't working for you, look for all these little star asterisks. You can pretty much do this, type in the asterisks, and boom, it'll find every single one of them. You can just up the number next to it if it's not working, and just like that, it'll work perfectly. Another thing I will say, if you guys want to change the keybinds, they're right here. If you want to change the start button, you can change it to P, you can change it to L, you can change it to whatever you want. It's pretty simple. I like it as back bracket. And again, if you want to change the other ones, they're at the bottom. This is to stop it. This is to start. This is to reload it. And that's pretty much it. But with that, once you have all of that up and running, what you can do is you can start the macro, hit the back bracket, click start, and it'll run perfectly. So I'll show you guys that real quick. La 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 la. As you can see, once you look into a server, it'll light itself. And just like that, starts out perfectly fine. Of course, I will say that is the riskiest part of the macro, as you can get ganked, but if you do get ganked, it will ping you. And just like that, you see what the game, and once the game hits extra HP, and then once it's extra HP, it'll go into Ferryman. What are we? And from here on, I'll let the macro speak for itself. So with that, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. The macro and everything will be in my Discord, so if you guys want that, just join up and go get it. But if you guys need help, there is the FAQ channel in my Discord, the read before use file, and I'll try to help any specific cases that I see. But besides that, I wish you guys the best of farming, and I hope you all have a great day.